Go.
We're gonna run no more, right? That comp?
Yeah.
Okay.
So the exact same thing we just got into doing.
Link.
Stream link.
What is up? We are live. Yes, we're live. We're here. Oh my gosh, I'm so loud. Yes, we're live. We're here. Oh man, it's been a doozy getting set up today, but I think we made it. Let me work on some sound here for just a second, and then we'll talk about what's going on. Let me turn this off. Mute that. We don't need that music. Okay, you can hear Marvel Rivals. Just making sure. Yes. And you can hear me. Well, guys, welcome. Welcome to... This is actually an NECC tournament. This is an out of season, we're just doing this as extra right now. So this is Marvel Rivals, and we're getting started. Actually, they're in the picking banning phase. So this works very similarly to League of Legends. So those of you that are not sure what this is Marvel Rivals. It is a new game. It's been out for about 2 months now. It is a hero-based shooter, very similar to Overwatch. If you made it third person, took Marvel characters and made it really interesting. So just going to talk through. We have picked just a few characters so far. Where there's a few bans. You see that in the middle there. They just banned Luna Snow.
Pick your hero.
We picked. It looks like we're now in the picking phase. So now we're actually selecting who we're going to play. So they talked about this earlier about going Penny. So that's, you got Slaganglian Chance from Overwatch JV playing Penny Parker. Junk is playing Invisible Woman, I think. Nope. Okay, Loki. That's what I thought. She is quite obsessed with Loki, so I'm not. That's like a zero shock kind of situation. Awesome. All right. This is the first time doing this too, so just bear with me on trying to get these controls down. Toggle point of view. Okay. Wow. Right. Whoa. Okay. That's different. Sweet. So it automatically adds a little bit of a delay for us, just to be within what's it called? Compliance, I suppose. I think you are. I can't hear Discord at all. Yeah, no, I have it like just completely turned off the audio on the computer, so I can't.
5, 4, 3, 2,
Okay.
1.
Mute and deafen and
Capture the mission area. Got it?
again, this is all new. Deafen. There it is. Got it. Okay. I think I'm good. Yes. All right, I'm good. All right, we're good. We're good. We're back. We're back to it. We're spectating the enemy team. Let's get on our group here.
Enemy in front of us.
6. Okay, here is Raccoon, aka Alex. Got Junk on Loki.
Looks like the mission area.
Loki's one of the support characters. Pretty fun. Spawns some clones of himself, and then he can do some stuff with those clones.
Systems restarting.
Got Assault. Lucas. Assault on our Overwatch varsity team, playing Nemo right now. Didn't know much about that Marvel character until very recently. And some of these Marvel characters are, I don't know, it's like obscure is one way to put it, I suppose.
All that thunder for nothing for?
Yeah, there's chance on Penny Parker playing the tank. So our goal is to get this point, and we are actually doing okay. This point right here. Oh, okay, I just paused it. Like I said, we're a little bit behind on purpose, but yeah, we want to be on the point. The opponent has the point. They just wiped us out, so we're regrouping right now. At the top middle, you can see kind of the progress for the objective. Got 37% towards the enemy. They're blue. We're currently red. There we go. Spectate chance for a little bit. This is what they see. This game is third person to shooter, so as you from Chance's perspective, he's kind of over the shoulder of the character, so that's a bit different on this game. Also, another, let's see, F12, there we go. This is, oh, I gotta change that keybind. I guess F12 is taking a screenshot with Steam. You got Raekwon. Raekwon playing on Moon Knight. Just got his ult. The moon haunts. Here goes. Great placement right behind the enemy team, so as they back up, they're getting hit. Didn't kill anybody, but definitely pushing them back a little bit. You see a lot of this ult trading in this game. Like, you'll hear one person use their ult, and the next person use it. It's kind of like a cycle, and we just got team wiped again on that. That engagement. That's funny. They were talking about this skin in particular. This is a Invisible Woman skin that's like a wedding. Yep. Marquand. Yep, absolutely. First point goes to the opponents. I'll actually get the bracket pulled up. So this is a bracketed event. It's a tournament. So, what is... Oh, no. To be. Don't have to be.
30 seconds before you attack.
Yeah, so this is an invitational. It's a different event. It's not, it's out of season, so it's not even part of the regular season.
You have a plan to stop Victor, don't you,
Looking to see where the bracket is.
Still love me if I said not yet?
Of course. But I would also be extremely concerned.
As would I, my dear.
Ah, there it is.
As
Nope.
would I.
Wrong one.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All you
Well,
need to do is
we're back in the
capture
second.
mission area.
Second round, this is, they got to capture 2 points. Either we capture 2, the opponent captures 2. We're red team, so just be kind of... Switch over to our side. Got Junk on Invisible
Our
Woman this time.
enemies are here.
Echo the Goat on... This is Mantis.
Your powers are mine!
Salt on Doctor Strange. Ooh, that just got killed. We just went down a tank.
By the eye of Agamotto!
Ult.
Lowers to capture now.
Ult by Doctor Strange. Takes out the rest of them. This is the opponent Wolverine killing our
The mission area is yours.
Groot to stagger the team.
Focus on the battle.
This is also our first ever entry into Rivals, so it's all brand new to us, as it is to just about everybody. I mean, it's only been out for a couple months now. See, this is support. Invisible Woman just kind of hanging back, throwing her, I guess like a ball that goes forward and back. Ooh, Wolverine. Crazy ult right on top of that. Right on top of the Invisible Woman. So we're down to support already. Okay, we just got a couple kills there. I think it's our first kills of the game, to be honest with you, which is great. Opponent used their ult, their Invisible Woman's that circle there. And now we should be pushing up onto the point. There Lucas goes. Right onto the point. That was good for us. That was good. We didn't die any. They did. We actually have 3 ults stacked up here. So just taking a look at the scoreboard, we have Doctor Strange's ult, devastating, gets in really close. We now have... Groot looked like he had his ult, but he must have used it. And then Penny Parker has her ult as well. Luke is just taking a ton of damage from that Wolverine. Our Mantis used her ult. It's a heal. Invisible Woman seconded another ult by us. There's the Doctor Strange ult. If it hits, it is devastating. It stuns you, makes you take a ton of damage. It was good for us. We end up taking out 3 of them. Clean up on aisle 7 there. And we have the perspective of seeing all of their ultimates and stuff, and so we have a bit more of a view. If you're playing, you can't see the opponents, all of their information. So this is kind of an advantage for us. But we can see, even after that, after we used 3 ults there, but now we have Penny Parker's ult, and they have, Mr. Fantastic's ult. So it's like, they have an ult, we have an ult. But I feel much better about having Penny Parker's ult than Mr. Fantastic. And he's probably going to use it, so I'll switch over to him. I would imagine he's going to... This is Mr. Fantastic. I'm going to imagine he's going to jump in and just use it right on top of everybody. As that he does. So he's just trying to do some damage, build up his shield. He gets his shield, and then now he's going to do his Mr. Fantastic. Yep, there it is. That's a good ult. That's a good ult. Nice, nice. Okay, well, that wasn't great, but we have a few ults now stacked up, so which is good for us. So like we have Groot's ult. We got 4 ults sitting here. So Penny's ult, Groot's ult, Moon Knight, and also Mantis. So we're regrouping right now, just kind of talking about the game plan. What's the plan? Doctor Strange is actually putting a portal right here. This is one of his abilities. He's currently doing it right now, so he's looking for a spot to drop in. So he's gonna pick someplace. So he likes that spot. And this actually makes a portal shortcut for the whole team to be able to fly through. Very useful for getting behind the enemy like that, get in position. Okay, Mantis uses her ult. Also use the Moon Knight ult. We kill one of their support, which is good for us. Supports, once a support falls, it's like once a support of one of the tank falls, it's really difficult for the opponent unless they start using ultimates like that. Opponent Mantis uses their ult. We're down right now on Moon Knight. And we just dropped down with Invisible Woman. We lose both of our supports, so definitely not going to end out well for us. Once you lose those 2 supports, can't really heal unless you drop a few ults. Which does not happen, unfortunately. We're just trying to keep the point alive right now, as they are. So first round goes to the opponents.
Another epic victory.
Bracket thing. I don't know why I can't find it. Oops. Well, there we go. First round. It's one of the nice things about Marvel Rivals, for sure. The rounds are pretty fast. That was 7.5 minutes for one complete back and forth. Ah, there we go. There's the bracket. Oops, that's the rule book. We don't need that. That's funny. I also don't know if it's single elimination. I probably should look into that. So we'll check out the rulebook here, see what the tournament's eligibility, roster size, blah 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 blah. China rosters. Here's the schedules. There's a qualifier stage 4 double elimination brackets. So it's double elimination today. Right there, you see it. So this is part of my life, to be honest, with this job. Is just there's a lot of rules. Lots of rules. Okay, and that means I can get out of this now. Go back to the home page. Okay, when we are... Looks like they're ready, so we're just kind of hanging out. Wait for a couple moments while the... Not sure why this is not loading. Ah, it says some tools are unavailable due to heavy traffic in this file. We got the enemy team. I can pull up the ranking here. The rank distribution. I've looked at this a few times, just because it's kind of neat to look at. But this is the rank distribution so far for Marvel Rivals, and you know, we have a few people. We have like one person in the Celestial range, several in the Diamond range, Platinum range, and the opponent's got a few more Celestials, and I think they have a GM as well. So you see these titles here underneath their name, or their rank for the competitive season. And we are diving into the second one. So best 2 of 3. So if the opponents win this one, then they win the series against us, and then we go down into the lower bracket. They move on in the winner's bracket. So our goal is to obviously win this one. This is a push one, I believe, if I remember correctly. Symbiotic surface. There's a cart, basically, we have to push. All right, going into it. This is the first one. These are the first bands. So we'll see. Looks like we get the first ban, and we ban Cloak and Dagger. That's probably going to be I would imagine every match that's Cloak and Dagger is banned, to be honest. Every single match. She's just really strong. It's who I main. She's very, very versatile. They ban the, what's his name? Magneto. This is a what's called a protected pick. So the opponents pick Doctor Strange as protected, and then we pick one as well. We pick Luna Snow, one of the support characters. And then we get to ban, so it's now our turn to pick one. And this is where the scouting comes into play. You know, I talk a bit about, you know, researching your opponent, you know, seeing who they play, who they don't play. This is part of that, process. So we banned the Wolverine. Had some pretty sick Wolverine play last round. And they banned the Groot. Yeah, a typical Groot.
The right heroes
Yeah.
could make all the difference.
Groot's rough. Okay. It's like we got Penny Parker again. Chance playing Penny Parker. Same thing for that. Brother Oxlong is actually Reaper Reap from Overwatch Varsity now. So he's playing, I think that's, God, what is that guy's name? I can't remember, escaping me. Winter Soldier. There you go. Got Luna Snow, Invisible Woman. Switch over to our side. Yeah, I got Penny Parker. I want to play with this a little bit. This is an interesting view. It's very interesting.
They'll be coming in 30 seconds. Stay strong.
But yeah. Yep, so we got Penny Parker right here. Pretty cool. Winter Soldier right there, which is great. This is Luna Snow. She's like a dancer lady. DJ. Pretty cool. I believe the daughter of Emma Snow, if you're a Marvel fan. Visible Woman.
Starts in 5,
Got Hulk
4, 3.
and Doctor Strange. We're going to 3-tank combo right now.
You have to stop
So
them
we're going to
from
stay on
securing
Raccoon
the mission
just
area.
for a minute. This is Alex. It's funny, actually, Echo and Raccoon are both Alex's. But which is a big question. I can actually tell you. So Hulk is, you see some pretty common similar things happening between these games. So you have characters that dive in like this, like Hulk, dive in, do some damage. You got some brawlers, people that stand up and take some hits. So we're just kind of hitting on the outside right now, trying to weaken their defenses without dying. Hulk does die. He goes into a secondary mode when he dies. He's got to basically try to get his anger back up. He falls down. And after that, the rest of the team just kind of falls for a team wipe for the opponent. Oh yeah, I was supposed to see who it is we are playing.
If at first you
There we go, now we're in it. Now we are in it. What are we in? Okay. Why is he just holding punch down constantly? Go to somebody else. Watch Quan for a little bit. Bracket. We are in bracket 1.
What am I? Invisible?
Looks like we do another portal here. We switch to Moon Knight. Which Moon Knight has kind of a ricochet effect, so he's standing back. Oh, but unfortunately takes a lot of damage and dies pretty quickly after dropping out of that portal. Which, unfortunate.
Back again? Great.
Unfortunate. We're playing Northwood University.
my turn.
That's who we're playing. And I've been completely neglecting chat, so if you've been saying things in chat, I don't know. Oh, no you haven't. Okay. I haven't been neglecting you. Northwood University, they're a private, non-profit 4-year university out of Michigan, Midland, Michigan. Namor ult drops in the whale. Moon Knight's a good counter to Namor because of his ricochet. But he's not able to connect. Quan is not able to connect on his hits.
Here they are. They don't look friendly. Powering up.
It's like Chance has his hold. Man, just taking way too much damage. Which is tough. You know, we're trying to run 3 tanks right now, which is as tough as it is. Whereas the opponent is only running 1 tank. So that's kind of one of the things I'm interested to see in this competitive rivals is some of the team compositions that people run. Because I mean, you either run basically a straight 2-2-2, which is 2 tanks, 2 supports, and then 2 DPS characters. We're running 3 tanks, 1 DPS, 2 supports. The opponent's running 1 tank, 1 tank, 3 supports, and 2 DPS. A lot of ult exchanges happening here, going in our favor, thankfully, this time. 2 of the opponents are down. They're basically Mr. Fantastic and their Doctor Strange is down. The opponent uses their ult for Luna Snow, which does a you see her like dancing there in the middle, does like a radius effect. This right here does kind of a radius healing effect until she's out, until she's done, so she falls. They're trying to portal in right now, which is portaling right on top of us. Best thing they could do. Mr. Fantastic's using that ult again. We're kind of holding off though. We're hanging with it. Oh, Junk falls. So does Juan. Got a few people still left up here. Chance is using that Penny Parker ult. Ooh, and falling. Good attempt, good attempt. Good attempt. Alright, that's the first point. So, we did not capture the point. So, the opponent just has to capture the point past how much we did, which I believe we only got to like, 45% of the capture progress. So the opponent just has to quite literally touch the point for a second, and then they will win the second round. So in order for us to continue, we have to basically make it so they cannot touch that point. Looks like we're opting for Jeff. Opting for the land shark. We've opted for the land shark. Let's take a look. There he is. There he is.
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
Jeff the land shark. There's a lot of interesting, I guess, synergies in this game. And so some of the characters, Jeff, for example, they actually get a bonus depending on if they have another person on the same team. And so Luna Snow actually gives Jeff a little buff. And if you look, it's like a team-up bonus. And it has to do with this little ice collar thing that she gives him.
All you need to do is capture the mission.
I believe it just increases his damage, but it might actually also slow. But there's a lot of those synergies in this game that makes it pretty fun for the team compositions. See Jeff just kind of hang out up here, up top. Jeff's a support, so just trying to heal from a distance and stay out of the way right now. Jeff has in this game, one of the most iconic ults. I think they did a great job of coming up with this ult, and basically swallows a huge radius of people and then can drive them off the edge or whatever. See that, just trying to keep them alive. At the top, you can see the progress meter there, and they have to basically get halfway. If they get over 45% of the progress, then they win. So that's our goal, is to keep them off at this point. Jeff doing a great job of healing from this vantage point. If they don't get him off of this, then it may actually end up going in our favor if we just keep this up. But they should recognize this. The opponent should see this and like turn and try to get that. We lose 1 damage. We lose our Namor, which is unfortunate. Not the end of the world. Okay, they're starting to see there's our Invisible Woman also up there now with us. Oh, Doctor Strange almost falling down. They're just trying to barely keep him alive, just trying to heal as much as possible. Jeff's about to get his ult. There he gets. Jeff gets his ult. He's going to go ahead and use it. He's going to try to gobble up a few of them. Does at least get 1. So he's going to try his bestest to get that person. Nope. Does not make it. And then falls. Not a good.
eye of Agamotto.
And there the enemy goes, gets that 45%.
Final score 1-2.
That means
0.
GG's on that. That was two losses. Best 2 out of 3.
Another epic victory.
Another epic for the opponent. All right. Well, that was GG's for that round. So that was that'll go to Northwood. That means we'll be actually in the lower bracket now. And R28. This is some. If you want to, this is called tournament management and bracket management. And so if you're like, oh, this is an interesting process, well, then you need to come to East Central University and study here and get some great experience with me in esports doing tournament organizing, because we do this a lot as part of our helps. So what match is this? First to 2. Well, I'm gonna guess it's gonna be this one right here. Maybe. Well, we'll see. Either way, we're going to take a break. Our next match actually begins within the next 15 minutes or so. So I'm going to go check in with the guys. I'm going to put it on some music here, and we'll go ahead and get it off of this. Exit spectating. There you go. Cool. All right. There's that. And then I will go ahead and mute rivals. We're going to get some music back on. And we'll be back in a few minutes. I'll post in chat. Once I confirm the time, I'll post it in chat so you can see exactly when we start, but I'm sure you'll be alarmed when you hear my voice come back on. So we'll be back in a bit.
always loved my powers, but now I think they're great.
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
Luna Snow! I know all of your songs. It's always an honor to meet a fan. Oba-chan loved to play them on the oldies station for me. Wow. For a girl with ice powers, I suddenly feel pretty uncool.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
Whoa. These chrono energy readings are gonna blow out your sensors, Spider. You know what to do, Spider? Need some help. A little help. Turn around, quick.
Looks like the mission area is yours to capture now. They captured the mission area!
Feeling fantastic. I was worried. Whoever they are, they don't look friendly. Powering up.
Feel the wrath of the goddess!
No worries. Please.
Your team's capture progress has passed the halfway point.
They're sneaking from behind. Feeling fantastic.
They've almost got it!
I specialize in grief.
Keep fighting until we have a winner.
Thanks so much. A nice deep freeze.
Control seized.
By the eye of Agam...
Endless battle means ever increasing.
This is natural anger.
Enemies. Perfect. Healing. Why would I need healing? Feel the pull! I'm hurt.
Feel the wrath of the goddess!
Shields up! I was worried. Down on that.
Never thought I'd be sad to see death. You've captured more than half of the mission area. Keep going.
I suck. I got always loved my powers, but now I think they're great.
Yeah! 30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
Are you really the goddess of death? My father. Is he in your realm?
Perhaps you should come with me and see yourself, my child. Fresh souls are always welcome in Hela's domain.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
We'll do this the same way we always do. Together. Now I can help and hurt. Anyone willing to help? I like the beat.
Capture now. I go capture the mission area.
Be your best self. That's much better. I was worried.
Feel the wrath of the goddess!
Undefeatable!
By the eye of Agamotto!
I'm making a comeback. Grow up.
Your team's capture progress has passed the halfway point.
What am I? Invisible? I was worried.
I am barely harmed.
It's much better. Disappear! You need me. I am ready to put on a show!
Take a look behind.
They've almost got it!
I should be singing lullabies. It's okay. Admit it. You need me.
Control seized!
I was worried.
For me, good.
I'm opening a portal. Feel the wrath of the goddess! Supernova!
I've still got songs to sing.
Never thought I'd be sad to see death.
Get ready to defend. I suck. Grow up.
You captured more than half of the mission area. Keep going. Double KO!
Healing. Thanks so much.
By the eye of Agamotto!
We are undefeatable! Glory is almost yours!
Someone needs a snowball.
Control lost!
right, I think we're getting back. We're getting back and we're getting set up. Welcome back. Had a couple practice rounds. Nothing too crazy. Hope everyone's Saturday afternoon is going just fine. This is our lower bracket, loser's bracket, first round, or second round, really. We're playing... I just had the school right in front of me, and then I just closed it. The College of Eastern Idaho. The College of Eastern Idaho. Idaho. They are a comprehensive community college. It's a public community college in Idaho Falls. Founded in 1969. It's a vocational technical school. So it was a VOTEC and then has turned into a community college. Let's see how it goes. There is a delay. Someone was asking me about that. So League of Legends does this, and I'm kind of happy to report that Rivals does too, where the system, the program itself has the delay. So we have to add a stream delay. You know, it's like we have to be so many seconds behind or so many minutes behind the match, just so it's more of a balance thing. It's more about fairness. And because what happens is if you're watching something real time, and especially a game like this where the characters you pick make a difference, or where your position is makes a big difference, which, to be honest, most competitive things are like that, you know. So if you're real time, then you could use the information you're seeing. If someone was watching it real time, they could be then using it against you. It's called stream sniping is the term that they use for that. And professional streamers, really big ones, will have a pretty significant delay for that reason. And so it's kind of difficult for them to manage chatting with a live audience with the stream delay. So that is a challenge, definitely. And yeah, it's kind of an interesting thing. But I like that Rivals has that built in. So I don't have to do anything on my end to set up a stream delay. It does it automatically. And so like when we're joining, we're like I think we're 2.5 minutes behind or something. I think it's 2.5 minutes. But we are now in the ban phase. Did a little bit of scouting on this team just for like a second. They're definitely not as high ranked as what the previous team we played were. The previous team had several very high ranked players. So yeah, this be interested to see how this one goes. We are red team. No, we're blue team this time. So we're going to be on the left side, blue team on the top in the ban phase. They banned Magneto first. Magneto's a very common ban right now, mainly because he's very strong, very versatile for a tank. And his ultimate it's kind of nuts if you can use it right and time it correctly. It can do a ton of damage. And it can just basically kill and single out somebody and do a ton of damage. Cloak and Dagger is our first ban. Like I said, pretty typical. We secure in the Luma Snow as a protected pick. And then they'll pick one as well. They pick ooh, I don't know how I feel about Psylocke as a protected pick. That's a bit pretty interesting. I'm gonna look up what that's actually called. It's probably not called protected pick. If it is called that, I'm gonna be like shocked that I just correctly guess. I guess I can use my computer instead of my phone.
Pick your hero or villain. I'm not judging.
What was I looking up? Ban phase. Yeah, it's not really saying.
30 seconds before you attack. Get ready.
Why do you insist on staying with your fool?
Yeah, so they're saying they're just calling it a save.
Reed saves the world countless times each week.
They're just saying a spot save, a character save. I think protected pick is probably better.
Not yet.
A better way to
But
explain
keep
that.
talking, and that could change.
All right. Well, we've got a little bit of a different lineup here. We got Thor, got Chance on Thor, got Alex on Groot. Juan is on the Shark, and again, one of those interactions. The game has these like little cute interactions. One of them is if Groot is on the team, and so is Jeff or Rocket Raccoon, they can actually jump on Groot's shoulders like this and get a damage reduction bonus. It also actually, oddly enough, as Shark, as Jeff, it actually helps quite a bit because you have one of your things shoots out a little bit of like a bubble. So you see him drop off because you're getting stunned. Now he's back on there.
Nice work, Nemo.
Good job. Get a couple kills there. Psylocke again, interesting protected pick. That means someone must really love Psylocke and be really, really good at them. So if we just make sure to counter that, then we'll be in good shape. Usually the protected picks go to something that they want to specialize or focus in. Oh, that got way caught out there. Mantis did. Doing a good job. So we're going to switch over to Lucas playing Namor again. Namor, however you say that. Sitting up top. It's a ranged DPS. Throws these spears do a ton of damage. He has his ultimate, so he should be using it pretty soon. There's Moon Knight's ult. The enemy's Moon Knight. Doesn't do anything. There's a Invisible Woman ult. Oof. Namor. I think it's Namor. Has kind of a thing that gets him protected for a second so he can escape. Reposition. Here he ups his ult. Big old whale. Misses. Oh, he actually does hit one. Gets the Invisible Woman. He's smartly focusing now next on the other support. Mantis used her ult. So did our Luna Snow. They're both area of effect kind of healing abilities. So as you can see, Luna just kind of dancing around. There's that ult by Doctor Strange. Stuns, does a ton of damage. Looks like we actually survived it. Okay, surprisingly. Their enemy Hulk is actually ulting. So, oh, Jeff picks up the Hulk. Oh no! Oh, that was a great Jeff ult. I wish that Quan would have survived that, but that was still great. Great timing to pick up the Hulk when he's in his ult. Gets a ton of HP, does start doing way more damage. He gets a couple extra abilities, so it's really strong. So that was really smart to use the Jeff ult to pick him up and throw him away. Good use of that Invisible Woman ult to get out of there and heal. While in that Invisible Woman circle, they actually heal. So Thor uses Mjolnir to do some damage. You see Groot blocking off there, keeping the tanks away. See that? That's really good. Good play. Groot using those walls to kind of block off the line of sight from the backline supports, and then locking those tanks in with them was great. Great gameplay. This is good. You know, I'm excited too because this is new for us. So as the players play and as they get more comfortable and kind of sort out, you know, who they're going to be playing long term, I think we'll be in good shape. It's interesting too seeing so many people flock to Marvel Rivals. A lot of them just like Marvel characters, but honestly, most of them that I talk to, they have the same kind of consensus. The game is just fun. It's just a fun game, and I've been playing it. Like I've actually been enjoying it, playing it quite a bit on my own time. I hit Plat 3. I was like, oh, going into this season, I want to hit Platinum, but now I'm already there, so I guess I'll go to the next level. Target Diamond.
4, 3,
That's the way it goes.
2, 1.
Well, we're leaving the gate. Thor has his ult. Opponent has a Moon Knight ult as well, so we'll see if they use that really early or not. Moon Knight is definitely one of my favorites. It looks like Lucas just took out their Moon Knight really fast. And you got Chance being an absolute bully here, just running down that Squirrel Girl. Holy crap. Love to see it. Love to see Chance just be super aggressive.
Mission area is yours.
Again, with that wall blocking up, they're just doing that like clockwork. Our guys are doing a really good job of that.
I am ready to put on a show.
That must be Alex O on. Oh, really nice Moon Knight ult. Kind of backseat. They were trying to push us back, using Moon Knight ult to do some damage as they were falling back. Unfortunately, it was a good plan. It just did not work out as well as they were expecting. Got a Jeff ult. Do that yummy kind of thing. Sounds like that's the enemy though. No, we have that. Oh, there he goes. Jeff grabs a few of them. Can he actually kill him though? He's got two. He's got Moon Knight. He's got Moon Knight and Luna Snow. Throws them both in a weird position, which is exactly kind of what you want to do. Just get him completely disorganized.
I put the on I'm willing to help.
And now that Luna Snow's trying to get back and dies. Super good. Got a couple ults stacked up here. Chance has kind of held on to his Thor ult for quite some time, so see if he uses it. Thor's ult's interesting. He kind of goes up in the air, starts doing a bunch of damage, some air rape effect damage, and then he slams down based on, I think, how much damage he's done.
By the Eye of Agamotto!
Another Eye of Agamotto. Now Luna Snow uses her ult, so again, she's dancing around just keeping us alive. The opponent counters that with the Invisible Woman ult. So a lot of counter ulting. We now use our Invisible Woman ult. Same thing. Groot uses his ult. Pulls everybody together. Ooh, there's the ult coming in. Although he's by himself, so I don't know if he probably won't be able to do a whole lot. And he doesn't. And that one should handily go to ECU for this first round. And that was the second capture, so that completes round 1 for us. So now we are up 1-0 going into the second map. And the second map should be a push. So it should be the cart situation where you capture the point, and which we did horribly on in the last one. That was like a 6-minute round because we just did not. Okay, Alex Gonzalez with the MVP. Excellent work. Here's the stats for this match. Just looking at, so we ran 3 supports, 2 tanks, and 1 DPS that round, which was good. They ran a standard 2-2-2 combo, 2 tanks, 2 DPS, and 2 supports. And interestingly enough, Jeff was playing more aggressive. So you see Jeff was 13 kills, 1 death, and 15 assists, and kind of a split in damage and healing, and really low, honestly, really low healing. But to be fair, that match went pretty quick. It was pretty fast, so not super shocked there. We'll jump back in the lobby and wait for the next one. Oh. I guess I need another invite. Inv, please. Need an inv, please. I need an invite. So I'm trying to tell them what. I needed an invite to the lobby. It dropped me out. There we go. Now we're in. Yeah, looking at their ranks, so they have their highest rank is a Diamond 1 player. They have a Diamond 1, Diamond 2, couple Platinum players, and then a Silver and a Bronze. Ugh. I actually had 11 people sign up for this for ECU. I really wanted us to have 2 rosters going into it. So if you're on this or watching and you're like, this looked fun, then please, I have slots. As long as you're on the esports program, you are welcome to join us. It doesn't matter what game you're playing. It could be Smash, could be League, could be whatever. But yeah, this is something that we'll do. There'll be another qualifier next weekend, I believe. I'll double check to see that when that second one is. Yeah, qualifier 2 is Saturday, March 8th. So I think that's a couple Saturdays from now. And the finals is Saturday, March 22nd. So basically in this, if you make it through all the way to the finals, there is a cash prize involved in it. So we had to pay to get into this. And we'll have to pay to get into both the first qualifier and the second qualifier. So both of those things are there. But yeah, the second qualifier is March 8th, Saturday, same time, about 11 a.m. And then the finals are March 22nd. And they don't, yeah, these tournament days are long. Teams who win their bracket of the qualifier will qualify for the finals. So we'd have to make it all the way to win the bracket to qualify for the finals. So there are 4 brackets out there today. So that means 4 schools will go to the finals this time. And then the next qualifier will be the same thing. Should be 4 brackets with 4 teams going to the finals. So at the finals should be 8 teams in a bracket playing through it that way. I'm not sure how they would do the seeding or if they do round robin with that. I'm not really confident how they would set that up, but yeah, that's the setup. We are loading in Shin Shibuya. I like this map. There's a lot of things about this game I just like. I'm really big about, in video games, I'm big about the atmosphere and like the level design, the way the levels look, how they feel. You know, there is a feeling to gaming, and just about everything we do in life has feeling to it. And so I really enjoy the level design in this game in particular. Enemy team comes out, immediately bans Luna Snow. It's like in League of Legends they called it trauma bans, which is a really funny expression. Like basically they're banning something that they were traumatized from the previous round, and so instead of banning something that's like a pick that's important or whatever, they ban something that caused them grief in the last round. Call that a trauma ban. We lock in the Penny Parker this time. Let's see if they lock in the Psylocke. Oh, they lock in the Hulk? Huh? Why are they locking the Hulk? Okay. That's fine. They banned the Groot. Yeah, I would definitely agree with the Groot. As an opponent, as an enemy player, I would definitely agree with the Groot. That was devastating. Getting them locked out of the walls like that was absolutely devastating.
The right heroes could make all the difference.
And we didn't ban the Psylocke. That again, they locked in the Psylocke last time, and then I don't think it didn't work out well for them. So I was kind of curious if they would do it again. They didn't select the Psylocke, oddly enough, but it's fine. They selected the Bruce Banner. Which again, this is a push map, so you have to be on offense and defense on this map in particular, and so some of the tanks they lean themselves more in one direction, either the push map or either the attack or the defense. So it's kind of interesting locking in a tank like Hulk, who is more of a dive tank. He's going to dive in and out. He's not going to necessarily stand up to the pressure, if you know what I mean, but he can do a really good job of diving in and out and doing damage and being disruptive. Very similar to like Doomfist in Overwatch. We like with the Penny Parker. Junk is back on Loki. Some more Loki action. Jeff again. Quan is really enjoying Jeff, so that's good. See, Lucas is always in some type of sniper specialist type. High accuracy is important type person, and Hera is definitely that. She throws these spears that do a ton of damage, and he's absolutely ecstatic that they have an Iron Man right now. He's like, oh, this is going to be free country. Iron Man is super fun, but he's so weak, and as long as you do something about him and you just shoot him a couple times, he falls apart pretty fast. And so you see Lucas kind of hanging out up here at the top, just looking around and trying to get some headshots in. Sees that Iron Man again. He's gonna focus that Iron Man. If he sees him, he's focusing him. Nice, gets the kill on the Winter Soldier. Iron Man sees Hera. Oh yeah, again, Lucas is excited about that. He's like, I am so pumped that. So if they have to switch out of Iron Man, if they don't, then they're just gonna be out a DPS all round. And they do not elect to switch out of the. Oh, they do. Okay, good. They switched to Moon Knight. Again, this map. I mean, it's just cool. It looks kind of like. Got Raccoon used his ult. Feels like Fransokyo. Oh, look at that. Yeah, Hera was able to see the Hulk around the corner and get Hulk out of his transform mode. So now he's very weak. Yeah, see, they're not doing anything about this. About Lucas just sitting up here. He's just able. The map is destructible too, so you kind of see that as they're fighting, the map starts to fall apart. It does rebuild, so now Lucas just gets his ult, and Hera's ult is so strong. She flies up in the air, can throw her spears, but they do way more damage. See that? He loves. Look at that, Lucas. Super good. Anytime he can get him in a sniper, he's good. Okay, they're starting to pay attention to Hera a little bit. They're starting to put a little pressure on that building, but still, I'm not sure what happened there, but. Okay, there we go. Yeah, the Psylocke finally gets the Hera. Hera she can turn into a crow, turns around and just two shots the Psylocke that's trying to do damage to her. She's like, I'm not done. I'll be up here again. I'll just wait. It's working. Keep doing it. The opponent has about 1 minute and 50 seconds to capture the point. If they don't, we saw what happened to us last round. They just get no points. So yeah, that Psylocke is not happy about that kill. And Lucas has his ult, so he could just sit here and hold on to that until the last like 30 seconds to kill the entire team. It does an unbelievable amount of damage. Oof. This is a good vantage point too. Us just kind of being up here. Although yeah, we can try out some of these other views. Yeah, so you see us just kind of hanging out. We're holding this point. You see Junk is putting Loki in several key positions to kind of, keep some pressure. And the clones will sit there and shoot. They'll also shoot at their allies. It's either trying to get Lucas off at this high point here. You got Thor going down to the point to actually try to start capping it. We're there too, so Mantis is sitting there just trying to protect herself. Our Mantis uses her ult down on the point while you see Thor, the Mantis. You see a couple of them starting to attack the point. Lucas is now dead. He saved his ult, though. He didn't use it. Chance uses his ult, so now you got Penny Parker's running around. We're doing a ton of ult swapping here. We've got 4 ults on the opponent going right now. Jeff jumps in. Does he get a few of them? He does. He gets 2. He gets Thor and he gets Hulk. So can he throw them both off? Hulk should be able to jump back from that. He doesn't. Oh, he does not. Jeff gets him. Nice job. Loki has his ult, so Junk has that ult to use, can turn into anybody and use their abilities at will. Then you got Lucas's ult, although he might elect to save it here. They do cap the point, so now that gives them another minute and a half on the clock. So now the opponent has 2.5 minutes to get to the next junction there, about halfway through the entire waypoint here. We're falling back just a bit. We're going to get to this choke point and then turn around and probably do some damage to him. Especially with Lucas, I'm kind of waiting for his ult. There's Lucas killing the Thor, paying attention to the Psylocke. He follows that Psylocke and kills him perfectly. Psylocke, as you saw, kind of goes invisible, so it kind of gets tough to see. Still holding on to that ult, not using it just yet. Just securing kills with the spears. Hulked out, but then immediately gets melted and turns back into the Bruce Banner form. Hera jumping up there on the top, just trying to do some damage, using that crow form.
This is real firepower.
There we go. Finally, I was like, okay, this would be a decent time. So she goes up in the air. She gets AoE damage. Gets a ton of health, too, just to be honest. So it's super good. That's Psylocke's ult. So the goal is to hold them right here, not let them get any distance. You know, if you're defending against the cart, stand around it because it'll actually go backwards. if the opponent's not around it, so it's happening right now, the cart will start going backwards just slowly. If you stand around it, actually, it does back up a little bit faster. And up to 3 people, I think it's up to 3 or 4 people can actually increase the speed of the cart going forward and backwards standing around it. A lot of people don't do that, though. I've noticed they don't try to make the cart move faster. I've played several comp matches that made a huge difference by us just focusing on moving the cart very quickly and keeping the opponent staggered as we move through the waypoints. It really is effective if you can do it. Enemy team is coming out hitting strong. A lot of those dive characters, you see them kind of jumping in, trying to do some damage, like Hulk. You got kind of surprised that Doctor Strange would be that far up without his ult. Hear that Rocket Raccoon ult. Jeff just used his ult. See if he can pick up a couple of them. He gets Doctor Strange at least. Now Doctor Strange can fly a little bit, so he probably needs to just run off the edge with him. So that's called the old suicide Jeff. Grab somebody important and then jump off the edge with them, especially if you know that they can get themselves back. They can survive the jump. Lucas has his ult again already. Similar to other games, you know, you get your ult in this by charging up. Depending on your class and what they're supposed to be doing, you get more points. So here we go. Here's that ult again. Now, we have another ult being used. See, Doctor Strange is coming up and trying to block this Hera ult. Super smart. It's a good play. Got Penny Parker using her spider mode again. She gets a shield, she runs around, she drops her webs and mines everywhere. Those mines are great at hurting the back line. She's running out of speed. Now it's just a brawl. We're in overtime, so the opponent... Oh, it looks like Chance falls down. Unfortunate. Junk has her ult, so she could use it. Oh, they get hit by Doctor Strange, which is going to be a team wipe for them. So they hit a checkpoint. Gives them another minute and a half on the clock. I've actually played one of these that has gone back and forth multiple times. So this is my favorite game mode because of that. It's if you stop your opponent and you keep stopping them over and over again, eventually you'll wear them down to where they'll eventually lose or die. But yeah, this mode in particular can go back and forth quite a bit. Got Jeff just hanging out. Their Hulk dove our backline, but then dies immediately. So not a great usage of that. And you see that a lot in this game, actually. Hulk actually got revived by Rocket Raccoon's little ability. Jeff gets his ult. He should definitely try to grab a few, which he does. You see them spread out. Ooh, doesn't end up getting anybody. Oh, he does. He gets Magneto. Which I think he can throw off Magneto, but at the same time, better to be safe on that.
You know what to do, spiders? Time for social fireworks.
Man, that Rocket Raccoon has been getting his ult every few seconds, it seems. Although, arguably, his ult, Rocket Raccoon... Oh, you see Hulk ulting there. Our Mantis uses her ult to kind of counter that by just doing some healing around, keeping everybody alive. We've already run that minute and a half down, so we're in overtime. We just need to get them off the point, let that overtime timer run down, and then we will actually move on to our turn. And it looks like we're getting pretty close to that. There's that Magneto ult I was telling you about. Super good. Absorbs all projectiles, especially metal ones. Adds to the volume of the ball, I think, that he throws. And then we have them very staggered right now, which is really good for us. Yep, there we go. Good job. So they got 2 points. They captured the first point, hit the mid waypoint, and then moved it 81 meters. So now we have this. We have to do the same. We have to beat that.
You'll need a top-notch team to win this one.
If this interests you and you're liking this, NECC actually has many other tournaments that happen. They do them. This is a tournament. It's an out-of-season event. It's not a It's not part of their season's performance. They're always generally we pay to be in these, and then there's a prize, like a cash prize. So I'm just going to read off the spring tournaments, and if any of these interest you, please let me know, and I'd be happy to support these if I can. Marvel Rivals is one. Street Fighter is one through the CFGC, the Collegiate Fighting Gaming group. And Smite 2 is new. So Smite 2 it's kind of been pre-alpha. It's not really alpha, I guess is the right way to put it. It's being released now, so you can go get it. It's all right. It's Smite 2. You know, it's based just the same, but with a new game engine, so it looks a lot better. It runs okay. Not a whole lot of new, but it definitely is an upgrade from the previous. So Smite 2. Team Fortress Tactics, TFT. That is a TFT. I believe that's a Riot game, actually. TFT. Team Fight Tactics, I think. Team Fight Tactics. There's going to be a college football tournament on March 8th. You've got the finals on March 15th. Another Team Fight Tactics. Tekken 8. And a Fortnite one on March 29th. So, if you were like, man, this is pretty cool, I'd like to try out something different, and you're on one of the other teams, this is a great way to try something out. Although the competition is pretty steep on these because there's money, there's definitely money involved. All right, we're seeing Quan on Venom, and he's talked a lot about enjoying Venom and playing Venom a lot. So we're actually going to swap over and watch him. We can. There we go. Okay. Venom is a dive tank. Oh, and of course, as I switch over to him, he gets melted and dies immediately. As does Chance, so we should back up. And it looks like we're trying to go for the Spider-Man Venom combo. Really enjoy playing Spider-Man. He's a lot of fun. If you've played the Spider-Man PlayStation game, the one that Sony released a couple of years ago, I think number 2 is just coming out now. They actually leveraged a lot of the mechanics from that to make the Spider-Man in this one. So you'll notice like web swinging is very similar. He's going to be trying to stick like that, get a web on somebody, then he's going to dive them, do a ton of damage. It's really, he's a significant burst hero. Oof. Yeah. Opponent uses 4 ults. 4 ults. That was a lot. And the 5. They use 5 ults. There's the Agamotto. That's the 5th ult. We only use 2. And we're on the point with numbers in our favor. We got Venom running people down, which is great. Yeah, I was going to say he should stay in that room and just keep him out of there, which is what he's kind of trying to do. Spider-Man is in that room. Not great. You got 2 supports there to kind of keeping each other alive, Rocket Raccoon and Mantis. So they should definitely kind of back up a little bit. Oddly enough, they did not, our guys did not capture that. I'm kind of surprised. We're still in it. We got Spider-Man and Invisible Woman. I hear a Doctor Strange portal coming, so definitely want to back out of that. Chance has ultimate on Penny Parker. And that's about it. Rocket Raccoon's about to get his on the opponent. Hulk has his ult. So just kind of hanging out waiting. We'll see if we do any adjustments. Switch over to Loki again. Loki's really cool. I don't play him as support ever.
Only 60 seconds left.
A lot of people I've heard complain to, oh, that's this from Overwatch, or that's this, which is may or may not be true. But I do want to point out, they did a good job of making the characters feel like the characters. And so they really picked abilities and things that made the characters play like they're supposed to. And so some characters have very little, like they only have 2 or 3 abilities, because they are very simple.
We are undefeatable.
We're using a couple of ults here, trying to get him off the point. And that gets taken out. So does Lucas. Quan is on Moon Knight now. So we're trying some things out. We have 10 seconds, though, to get on the point and capture it. So we've got to get moving if we're going to. If not, we're moving on to round 3.
Keep fighting until we have a winner.
We're in overtime. We saw this happen a couple times. There's Punisher to goes down. Nice job. Looks like we've got both of their... there's Magneto ult. Notice how Quan did a good job of not throwing any more little boomerang thingies. Good job. All right. Well, there's no time like the last second to get it together, right? Like, no time like the present to get it together.
Help get that vehicle to its destination.
Well, we're moving. We are moving the thing. If you can see at the top, there is a little yellow bullet right here. That's the marker we have to get to. So you can kind of keep track of our progress as we move through the map. Quan's playing on Moon Knight. He's going to use his ult here, right on top of them. Get them to break up a little bit. Ooh, some good damage there by Quan. You can hear the damage being done, and when you hear that little tick, 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 that's him. His boomerang's bouncing between the enemies. That raccoon ult again. Mantis uses hers. Quan is doing a ton of damage, building up ult charge really quickly. He gets his ult again, is able to drop it right behind them as they're backing up. Super good ult. So yeah, I just love that. They're doing a good job of using that Moon Knight ult. It's a good damage tool, but it's more a area denial, and so that's it, which is an important concept in this game, or in any game really. Denying the enemy an area, and it causes them to split up. So if you place that Moon Knight ult in between the support and the tank, which is pretty easy to do, the tanks will go one way, the supports will go the other way, and it's just a pretty. It's natural too. It's not like it's human behavior to do that. To back up when danger is presented to us.
The vehicle reached a checkpoint. Keep up the momentum.
We need to finish this for the web.
Yep. Doing good. We're doing good. Quan is just doing so much damage as Reaper. Gets his ult again. He's going to try to drop it again right behind him. Does a good job. Drops it right on top of him. See, we've got 3 people on the point. We're moving that cart. We're trying to move it as quickly as possible right now to get time back. That's why we're doing that. We're getting time back. Oh, nice. So he can either bounce off of the onks or he can bounce off of enemies. You hear the eye of Agamotto. You see Hulk. Where's Hulk? There he is. Keep an eye on him while he's trying to push everybody off the point just for a second. Quan taking a ton of damage here.
The rich just keep getting richer.
He misses that onk. So he can ricochet off of enemies or onks. So he's trying to throw these onks. And so as an enemy, that's how you try to counter Moon Knight is one, keep an eye on where he is, but then also, as soon as you see his onks, you need to get him. Right there, see how he's throwing him?
Only 60 seconds left.
There we go. Got Magneto dead, which is good. Rocket Raccoon can do a revive. It just, you see, get really close to that raccoon. Nice. Kills the raccoon. There we go. That should be it. There we go. GG's ECU. Nice job.
3, 2, 2.
Excellent work. The moon haunts you.
Epic victory.
Great job. Again, been neglecting chat. Lane, yeah, wish you were here too, man. Had a few players that wanted to participate today and just couldn't make it. Yeah, and so if you look at our healing on that, we got 20,000 healing on Junknat. Great job. She's 30 and 5. 30 kills, 30 kills that she was part of, 5 assists, 36 assists. Sorry, 5 deaths, 36 assists. She final hits 4. Yeah, people, this final hit thing is good, but I would much rather look at the secured kill column. To be honest, a lot of people focus on this final hit like, oh, that's the most important, which, okay, whatever. But a confirmed kill, in my opinion, is significantly more valuable than somebody trying to focus on always last hitting things. This is not League of Legends. You know, the goal is to get them killed. And so I'd rather have those confirmed kills, which can be shared between multiple people that have done damage in a period of time. This healing, though, 20k on Junknat with Loki, and then 24k on Alex O as Mantis is great. Super good healing. Now, look at this Rocket Raccoon, though. If this was me, I would be really frustrated. If I was Rocket Raccoon, I would be very frustrated. And the reason why is he did 60,000, almost 60,000 healing. That's absurd. So he was just sitting there healing, and you can see that too in this. He was only part of 4 kills, only did 1,000 damage. So he did not fire his gun hardly at all. Was mostly just focused on the healing, and almost at 60,000 healing, which as a healer, that hurts my heart because I'm like, man, that's a lot of effort that he's putting forward to try to save the team, and it's just not working. So kudos to Nottingham. That's some solid Rocket gameplay. And then even their Mantis was almost at 30k. So they were out healing us by quite a bit that whole round. But we still ended up winning. So great job. All right. GG's. All right. All right. Okay, well, there we go. We'll be back again, take a quick break, and we'll be back in a few minutes. Let me check to see what time the next match should be. That was that match start time. So again, that match start time was like 1:15. We started about 1:05, and we're done. So 20 minutes for a full competition match. I just try to point out some of these positives with Rivals that are from a administrative perspective, why it's going to be better and why it's going to be very popular is because of things like this. Can get way more people through, way more matches through too. All right, bracket. Just taking a look at the bracket for a second. You're gonna try. Oh boy, what happened? This Google sheet is like struggling because there's so many people in this thing right now. Shout out to Google for doing their best to keep it together, but. We lost one match, so we moved down to what's called the lower bracket, the losers bracket. We're down here. We just won against Eastern Idaho, so we will move on to the next one. So we are just trugging along, and our goal is to now try to make it through this lower bracket here. You can kind of see it stepping up and stepping up. And then there will be a winner of the semifinals down here. The winner of the lower bracket semifinals actually comes up to play in the finals match. And so that's, we'll actually bring that, winner of lower finals versus the winner of the upper finals. Whoever wins this match will get a spot into the finals. So, solid. So we'll be back in a few minutes. Oh yeah, what time is this supposed to start? Sorry. I was supposed to tell you that. It says it's 1:15, so... a while ago. We'll see. Oh yeah, right. Probably right around 1:45 for us ish. These are in Eastern time, so yeah, I don't. These times are wrong. Yeah, that's all good. It's fine. Everything's fine. We're good. I'm gonna probably send somebody for lunch, and then we'll carry on. So we'll be back in a few minutes. We are coming back slowly. Match was supposed to be at 1:45. We're a couple minutes past. We're in lobby. We're just hanging out waiting. Waiting. I'm looking at their team. They've got a couple GMs, Grandmasters. They've got 4 of them. 5 Grandmasters and a Celestial. So their rank is much higher than ours. That is definite. That is definite. Okay, we're loading in. Loading in. And yes, I am currently playing around a Pokemon as I was waiting. So, yeah, sorry about that. It's almost over, though. I'm going to lose. Playing my fighting deck. And it's just not going well. That's okay. Oh, finally. Jiminy Christmas. All right, we're in the ban phase. Getting started. Cloak and Dagger ban. We are on red side, so we're on the red team this time. Looks like they banned Doctor Strange. Got a protected pick here. We'll see what the opponents go with. Actually, my game in Pokemon is turning around a little bit. I draw a Lucario. Yes. Hooray. They elect to not pick anybody. Odd. But yeah, they're electing to not pick anybody for some reason. For their protected pick. That's okay. Interesting. Last ban by the opponents. Well, we are going the distance, folks, just to remind you on the bracket. So we're playing against California State University. I think it's Long Island. No, it's Long Beach, maybe?
Pick your hero. Or villain. I'm not judging.
Interesting. The opponent banned tanks. But they didn't ban Groot, which is odd. Cloak and Dagger is pretty typical. So I'm not really super shocked with that. And we are off to the races. Yeah, let's keep it on.
30 seconds
Just
before
gonna
you
check our
attack.
opponent.
Get ready.
Yeah, California State University, Long Beach.
The one
It's
and
their
only,
gold team.
I think. You were my Obajan's favorite singer. Wow, did not expect that.
Interesting.
The battle starts in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All you need to do is capture the mission area. Got it?
Whoa. These chrono energy readings are gonna blow out your sensors, Spider.
This is the point capture. Got to capture the point, hold it till it's fully captured. We got to do that twice. We're kind of holding a high position here by the throne. Love this. This Asgard map is pretty cool. It's all indoors in this particular part, which is neat. But and by the way, I won my Pokemon match, just in case you're wondering. I play a fighting deck. Okay, it looks like Lucas drops down. He was being Hera. We're following currently Alex Gonzalez, Luna Snow. He's just keeping everybody alive because they retreat a little bit, try to get off the point. And Junk falls as Loki. So yeah, we're regrouping.
It's okay.
Back up and
You
regroup.
need me.
It's a good pick on the invisible woman there.
I'm counting on you. Be your best self.
Enemies. Perfect.
Jeff is about to have his ult, which is Quan. So he's getting close. Again, him being on top of Groot, some people don't like it, but I think it's kind of fun. He gets his ult too, so Groot is there. He's ready to ult. Trying to use that wall to let them jump up there. See Groot do some area of effect damage to kill some of those clones. Super good. That's part of it is just trying to use the ults to get an advantage. Because the ultimate abilities are very powerful. Jeff is definitely going to ult now. Looks like he's able to grab nobody. Oh, that's unfortunate. Magneto, again, he's banned a lot. The reason he's banned a lot is because of that shield. Same with Cloak and Dagger. They are banned frequently because of their shields, their ability to basically negate so much in the game. That's hard. See Lucas over there. Gets taken out by the opponent's Hera. Blue team's at 83, 84%, 85. We've got to make a move here to get on the point. Chance has his ult. So does Groot. So we're looking for a good pull everybody together type situation. So here comes the Spider Time ult. See also Lucas ulting. Enemy Loki is available. So is our Loki. We use the ult. Loki picks Luna Snow. Another healing ult. Still have the Groot ult. Here's Magneto. Still have the Groot ult to use. There's the Groot ult. There's the Thor ult. Pretty good combo. Doesn't quite work out to get enough damage out there, and it's a team wipe for ECU. First point goes to California State. It's actually where I grew up. Not Long Beach specifically, but Orange County, California. They call it the lore of Cody. The history. Yeah, I grew up in Orange County, California till I was in I finished freshman year of high school at El Medina High School in Orange County. Moved to Owasso, Oklahoma. Went to Owasso, Oklahoma high school for a year. No, it was about a year. And then I transferred with my brother to Verdigris High School. And I graduated from Verdigris High School, which Verdigris is a small school in between Claremore and Catoosa area. So pretty small high school. I think my graduating class was like in the 30s or 40-ish people. So pretty small class. Which I have not been back there or do not go back there. Like it's just one of those things I just don't. I live a very different life than the one that I led then. All right, off to round 2. Pretty similar composition for us. We switch out pretty much the same. We don't switch out anything. Neither does the opponent. There is counter swapping in this game and counter picking things, and I do it a lot on support. 2 of us go down immediately. They save their ults for this particular moment, and then they're using their ults. So Squeegee is actually Loki, but what happened is their Storm used their ult to use the Tornado to do some damage, which that ult is devastating, and then Loki then copies the Storm and uses the ult again. So it's like you're basically getting hit by that ultimate twice, and that ultimate in itself is really devastating. So Loki using it like that is really good. And Loki's ultimate, he can copy anybody, any hero, ally, or enemy. Lucas does get a pick. Finally, at least gets one. So he's hanging out up top here. Here comes the Storm ult again. Now we use our Luna Snow ult to counter that. Which I've mentioned that a couple times. It seems like this game is a lot of counter picking, counter ulting. So here's the enemy. Hera uses an ult. We use ours. Mainly, it gives a ton of damage boost. It gives a lot of up and see. They were already in the air, able to shoot, so they were able to kill Lucas while he was in his Hera ult as he was trying to do the same to them.
Immortality has its privileges.
The area's almost yours.
Unfortunate. Lucas got picked out by their Hera again. Right out the gate. We have a Jeff ult and we have the Loki ult. So that is possible for us to use that. There's Loki transferring into Luna Snow. Gonna rush in and try to do... Yep. A little bit early on the ult, but it'll work.
You'll have to keep fighting until we have a winner.
Just to do some healing to try to get them off the point. That's all this is. Our Jeff coming in, trying to use his ult.
Nice deep freeze.
Oof, yeah, there's the Magneto ult. Throws it. Usually that happens. Magneto's going to use their ult and then throw it on one of the support characters. It's pretty typical. Loki falls down. Pretty much a whole team wipe for us. So that second point goes to California State. First round to them. Be a few moments and then we'll be into the next match.
Another epic victory. Big win.
The enemy Loki's MVP. Taking a look at the stats for this last match, about 18,000 healing between our two supports. They are, sorry, we're down here. We had about, yeah, same thing, pretty close with our three supports. Definitely our supports did not connect like they did the past game, so that was a huge issue. Team fights were tough. We were not in a good position a lot of times. Their ults, they were timing them a little better. It was just all around. They just did a better job all around. That's just the way it goes. Just the way it goes. All right, let me get out of these. It should kick me out in a moment. Ah, man. I'm just gonna wait. There we go. Okie dokie. Round 2. We're just waiting to start. I didn't see Human Torch be played. Someone messaged me and said that they thought Human Torch can't be played. Yeah, they shouldn't. So there's 2 new characters came out. they're talking about the matchmaking region. You have to pick the matchmaking region that gives the best. Basically, you have to pick the one that's a compromise between the two places. So we're in Oklahoma. They're in California. So the Dallas server should be the one that we both utilize because the other servers are farther east. It's kind of surprising there's not a West Coast server like that, to be honest. Shinjibuya again. Same as last time. Capture the point. That's the goal. Cap the point. Drive the cart all the way down the lane. I have not been caught up on Discord lately. Trying to get caught back up. All right, we're in the bannings phase. Looks like we have a trauma ban of banning the Storm. They continue to ban the Doctor Strange. They protect the Magneto. So that Magneto worked really well for them. I'm not shocked at all as to where that's coming from. And actually, that was us that picked the Magneto. No, I'm sorry. That was them. We lock in the Luna Snow. That's who we click in there. Not banning anybody for the last one. Opponents select to ban Bruce, aka Hulk.
The right heroes could make all the difference.
Squeege Master locks in. So Squeege Master was the Hera on the opponent last game, and then he locks in. Oh, I thought he was going to play... Oh, no. So Squeegee Meister was the... what's it called? Loki last round. HOV was the high occupancy vehicle. Was the Hera, so be interested to see. Again, these maps dictate heavily which characters are good and which ones are not. So that makes a big difference. So you'll see a lot of specific characters played in specific maps. Definitely. So far, so good, though. Honestly, like, just from a perspective, it's fun to watch. It's a little chaotic at times.
They'll be coming in 30 seconds. Stay strong.
But I will definitely be watching back. So I was, in between the last round and this one, I was thinking about... this is the first time we've ever broadcast Marvel Rivals in a competition setting. So kudos to me for just, like, being the first one ever to do this for us, right? Like, you're welcome. At least there's that. But it just reminded me, I always say this, and it's very true. I will never ask you to do something for me that I would not do myself or could not do myself. And I lead by example at best, at any juncture I can. And this is just an example of how that actually plays out in real life. And so when you hear people say, I lead by example, this is what they should be doing. They should be actually doing the things they're asking people to do. Luna Snow, super good. Definitely popular. She has a freeze, so she's able to freeze. She has a rage issue, as you can see. Her projectiles, and that happens a lot. The projectiles don't go as far as you think. They're not unlimited range. We're just dancing around the outskirts here. Not able to commit fully. Trying to see if we can get somebody picked off. Which is not working out in our favor yet. Luna Snow's about to go down, maybe. Okay, good job. Doing a lot of healing here. comes the Squirrel Girl ult. They stop the squirrel. Oh, no, they don't. It's still there. Oof. Tough. That was a good save. Just having trouble healing both the support and the tank at the same time.
I am ready to put on a show.
Their Luna Snow used their ult, so we should hold ours and wait for a second to spread that out a bit. And now we should probably use the ult to push in. Man, holding off still.
I like the cold.
Still nothing. There we go.
To put on a show.
Timing that with the Winter Soldier ult was the plan there. Enemy uses their Invisible Woman ult to counteract the Luna Snow to keep the healing going. Here comes the Namor ult. Enemy, oof. That's a good ult. Knocks out a couple of people, both supports. Nope, Junk is still up. And she has her ult. So, nope, she fell down. Got Quan going back to Moon Knight. That was working really well. Just missed his Onk throw there.
Be your best self.
Ooh, man, I'm tired today. I would say it was a long week, but we were closed like majority of the week.
I'm hurt.
Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday we had ice and pretty significant cold weather. Enough to where a lot of stuff was shut down here in Oklahoma. So I would say it's been a long week, but we've not actually worked a whole lot. We still kept going, though. We still had competition matches at night, so we were still remotely playing. We were able to complete several matches and not have to reschedule everything, which was nice. It's kind of like one of the benefits of being in esports is, yeah, all that damage, all those ticks you're hearing. Kind of nice with us being in esports. The traditional sports, if they can't play, their rescheduling is a nightmare. Because it's a physical sport. They've got so many people involved in it. And it's a big production to get that actually to happen.
To put on a show.
See Quan just hanging out on the side here, trying to just do damage, build up his charge. They see him now, so he needs to get out of there. He's running right through the mess of it. Gonna get taken out.
Down to 30 seconds.
Not much you can do about that. As a healer, like Junk, there's just not much you can do about that. He was way out of position. We've got 18 seconds to cap the point. We've got no progress on it so far. So this is a deadlock hold by California State. Junknat trying her best to get in there and do some healing. She doesn't have her ult yet. She's going to try to stick it out, though, and see if she can get it.
Feeling fantastic.
If she can get it and drop this, it might turn it around.
Anyone willing to help?
There's the Squirrel Stampede. She still doesn't have her ult. Still charging it. She's at 90% ult. Trying super hard. Doesn't quite get it. And dies. Unfortunate. Which then leaves Chance as Thor. You've got... Wow. Quan at very low health. We actually get the points. Wow, what the crap. I was not expecting that. That was a deadlock. At the last... Again, there's no time like the last second to get it.
Battlefield medicine.
This game is 6v6, so if you've been familiar with Overwatch, Overwatch historically was 6v6, but then it switched to 5v5 after a few seasons, and then they've never gone back to the 6v6 model. And after playing through Rivals a bit, I see one of the reasons why. If you look right there, there's a lot of space where all of those people were. There's physical space. And Overwatch maps, now that I've played a bit of Rivals, they feel squished. They just don't feel as open. There's not as much space where there's big open areas for fighting. And so having 6 on that type of thin map, or a really squished map, makes things a bit too much claustrophobic, or it makes too much going on in one moment, or one little area. At least that's kind of what I see with it. Okay, Chance gets their Magneto, but their Thor goes off and actually gets 3 of us dead. So we are now down 2. That was a 1-for-3 fight. We got 1, they got 3. Alex doing his absolute bestest here to keep everyone alive. He's doing good on building ult charge too, so he's at 89, 90%. The supports are building it based on their healing and damage. They get more for healing than they do damage, though, as far as their ultimate charge goes. He switches into his icicle shot. They kill the Stampede. So Squirrel Girl drops that Stampede. If you shoot it really quickly, you'll kill it. Sorry, Invisible Woman using her ult. Just trying to make some progress up the lane here. Chance goes down. Although we end up killing their... what did we kill? We got their Squirrel Girl. End up getting their Loki as well. So it's a 4 on... I believe we have 5. Magneto uses his ult. Misses. Oh, yeah, no, he does end up getting the Moon Knight. And they kick us off the point. Nobody's on the cart. I don't know if they forgot. I don't know what happened there, but they did not make it.
Time to switch things up, including which side you're on.
Now's where we have to deadlock them for 4 minutes to not even let them get on the point. Because if they get the point, they'll push it past pretty quickly. Squeege is dropping off of support. Abyssal is, I think, is staying on support. Seeing some swaps here, though. You're seeing some Spider-Man action coming in. You're seeing a Black Widow, Sniper. Still seeing Magneto. Still seeing Thor. Still seeing the Invisible Woman. It's odd, though, for them to go with one support. I am, in my experience in this game, which is very limited at this point, every time I've watched a competitive match and they go with one support, they get train wrecked. Every time. So we shall see. And even worse, the support they picked to go with is Jeff. I just, yeah, you can see he's probably like very upset. I don't know. We'll see what happens. But yeah, we're gonna switch off that. It's just the amount of damage that's going out in this game is a lot. I mean, it's a lot of damage. Let's just put it that way. The number, the scale of the health and stuff. So like Loki has 250 health, right? But the healing that they do, they're doing 20,000. The average healing for a match is like 20,000. That's like, so think about that. 100, was it 1,000 times Loki's life? Is how much that they heal. My math is bad on that. You can call me out in chat. Okay, we're doing okay. Spider-Man's trying to drop in the back and kill Moon Knight. Does not. There's Thor. They're trying to kill our supports. That's what their objective is to kill our supports. If they can kill our supports, they have a chance. And that's why you see them going some of these characters like Spider-Man, Wolverine. We have the Wolverine. Never mind. Alex is on Wolverine this time. Oh, and here comes... Oh, man. Very close. Very close. Almost Loki. Almost fell down. Their Thor does fall down, so they're down 1 tank right now. Keeping it alive. Keeping the dream alive. End up killing the Spider-Man, so we're still alive in force. A little bit of health issues, but we're still surviving. Like the best. I'm wearing a Bastille shirt today. What can I say? I'm surviving. Alright, we have an enemy using their ult here. We're going to try a different view and just kind of look up above this point here. We see Moon Knight dropping his ult. That red circle there with the hands going down. We're still in position here. We still have force. 5 of us. They are only having 1. So right now you can kind of see them being pushed back. Us red here, we're in force on the point, just holding it successfully. So we got to keep that up. The worst things that can happen right now, somebody gets picked off. And how that can happen is like what we have Wolverine doing up here, trying to get in position to be above and drop in, is a problem. So we don't want to, no stupid deaths right now. That's the goal. See, Lucas has Assault up there in the front. Wolverine pulls successfully back there. Oh, it pulls their Magneto back into the group and then ends up dying. Lucas, great ult on the Magneto ult. Kills the Invisible Woman. Again, that's kind of the goal with Magneto. Goes up in the air. His focus is, oh, we got Hera. Their enemy Hera's up here at the top being ignored. Ends up killing Luna Snow. So, oh, Wolverine grabs her, brings her down. Oh, solid Wolverine gameplay there. Solid. Nice work. yeah, Wolverine has that. He picks them up and then dives with them. So enemy uses Thor, enemy uses Magneto ult, trying to do some damage there. Their Thor does end up killing Junknat. Chance is using Spider to run around and just be disruptive, keep them off the point. Our Moon Knight does fall down, so does our Luna Snow. So currently it's just Chance on the point. You see him kind of running around. Our team is going to have to regroup, do our best to regroup there. Wolverine's still alive. You got Loki coming in. They are currently capturing the point right now. And it looks like California does. They get the point. So we will go back over to our team.
Help get that vehicle to its destination.
I like this view. It's kind of neat to watch from this perspective. It's not as messy. A lot of damage going on. These health bars, though, are pretty big, so we can't really see a whole lot. We do have one ult here, Junk's ult with Loki. She's holding on to that. Lucas falls down as Magneto pretty fast. Although we end up killing their Invisible Woman. Again, killing that one support for them will stop them in their tracks because they won't be able to heal anymore. So that's a huge problem.
Thanks so much.
Especially with us with 2 supports, we're able to heal a lot of the damage that they're doing like this and just kind of stick with them and brawl.
I am ready to put on a show.
Good ult. Just kind of sits on that top of that cart there. Just healing all the damage being done.
Your powers are mine.
I am ready to
Loki takes somebody over. Who does Loki take over this time? Nobody yet? Oh, their Loki took somebody over. Our Loki gets their ult just now, so we'll see if he picks somebody and uses it. Picks the Luna Snow. Doesn't quite get the Luna Snow ult off and dies. Unfortunate. GG's to California State University. Gracie, we just lost. That's how we're doing. No, we are actually out. That was our last match, to be honest. It was a double elimination tournament. And we won 2, lost 2. Solid Invisible Woman. Looking at the stats, opponent team, you know, they started out with 1 support, so that was risky on that push, and it ended up paying off for them because they were able to do enough damage and actually isolate our supports and kill them outright. So definitely a lot to be learned from that. Really good, though. Honestly, I really enjoyed commentating in this, actually, like playing through it. It's our first ever Rivals encounter from a competitive standpoint, so a lot of things will be learned from this. We'll gain a lot from the experience, and we'll do better and better. The next, if you were watching this and you see this in the future and you're like, I want to be part of that, the next Marvel Rivals qualifier is actually March 8th. We can submit a second team, so if you did not play today, and you want to play next time, please find some people. We'll make a second team and we'll get out there. So thank you all for watching and hanging out today. I appreciate it very much. We'll be back on our main stream. This last week was kind of a hot mess because of the weather, but we'll be back on our regularly expected broadcasts on Monday. So we'll be back. Overwatch will be in the Great American Conference Monday, so we'll be back on that. And yeah, check the match information in Discord. Follow us on Twitch if you haven't done so already. And we'll catch you all on Monday. Have a great rest of your weekend. I hope you stay warm. It should warm up here in Oklahoma next week, so we should be in much better spirits midweek. But this has been Cody. I will catch you all later.